but they'll get plenty of time here. The cafeteria is built for 500 kids. The most it will ever have is 280. So it'll be halfway full for the most part, and that's it, which is pretty good, at least for the first year. So that works out pretty well for us. So their schedule really is pretty much cut and dry. Now, what happens in these classrooms is completely up to you. We're asking for you to think differently. We're asking for you to again, personalize it for them. And when you think about, wow, that can be really intimidating because I've got these lessons I've been doing for 10 years. And yeah, I've updated them and I've changed them and I've made them PowerPoints and the Prezzies and that's pretty neat too. There's a time and place for that as well as part of what you're doing. But in that 50-minute rotation you're going to have, that 50-minute group time that you're going to have, if you can think about what you really could do to address the different types of learning styles and allow these kids to work together and build in true 21st century skills. And by the way, you don't have to have technology to have 21st century skills. So can you teach them to communicate, to critically think, to collaborate, all these catchphrases? We actually want to be doing that too. So what can your classroom look like? Here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to tell our teachers that you have to have a grade in there every week. Because to me that's bold. You know, what if we're not ready for that yet? Well, shoot. Federalism is a concept that's tough to grasp sometimes. Same thing with the segregation. As a social studies teacher, you know, going over the 60s, I might want 2 weeks on that. And so there's no one that can tell me I have to have it done by Friday. And quite honestly, maybe their projects aren't done yet. Maybe one group is ready and one group's not. So you put them in it however you feel like it. It's a year-round course, so don't have to worry about it. You know, I got to have the EOC ready by Christmas. No, we're halfway done by Christmas if we're lucky. You know, and you'll learn how to kind of gauge that for yourself. So really, from an admin standpoint, it's very much hands-off. The only thing we want to do is help you. So if you need something, let us go find a way to get it. If something has to be bought, Danny can always find a way to try to go get something. If I have to do my job to try to help enforce some discipline, I'm very, very good at that too. So we can pull some kids aside, and we've got some pretty good programs built in for that too. But we really want you guys to know that it's your time, and it's hands-off from us. I'll tell you what we don't want to see. We don't want to see worksheets. We don't want to see workbooks. We don't want to see kids doing outlining. We don't want to see vocabulary words on the board that they're just defining. We don't want to do that at all. If the substitute's in the room, I guess that's one thing. But you guys are here for a reason because we really believe in you, and we believe that you can transform your classrooms into places where kids will learn a ton.
And if you haven't seen the website for the Henry County Schools website, if you go under, there is a link for personalized learning. There's a bunch of videos and things just to get you started if you haven't checked them out yet. That you can go and just familiarize yourself a little bit. And he's got a whole page on there, learning and leadership tools for personalized learning. There's some really great videos and links to some resources that you can just start now putting yourselves out there and start looking at things, and then that might give you a direction you can go to do your own research and further that.
But there's no right or wrong way. And that's the thing about it is that, the mistake, the reason why it fails in schools that try it is that because the administration standardizes the teachers, gives you a script, says here's what we're looking for exactly, and then we ask you to not do that to the kids. So gosh, when you think about it, that makes sense. We're taking a huge risk as a school in doing this. What we're saying is that if you let us recruit the teachers that we want, by the way, the record interview was Bruce's interview. It was 5 minutes long. We wanted them right away. But let us go pull in who we want, and then let them go do their thing. And then guess what? Let us worry about some of the logistics stuff. We'll be really, really good at that because we're not worried about micromanaging you guys. We just don't believe that that's the way to go. And somewhere along the line, that got lost in translation. That's all the schools ever really do. We just think that we can be better than that. And I'll tell you what, if I'm a kid going to that kind of school, I like that unpredictability. I am on a schedule. Within that schedule, anything can really happen. So there's that. Now if you look at the two different kind of schedules you can get, the AM Academy and the PM Academy. So if I'm a student in the AM Academy, I come to school, I go grab my breakfast if I want to, or I go out to wherever I want. 8:15, I go hit my rotation. Those 4 teachers will teach that morning session, if you will, so that 50, 100, 150, 200 something minutes that we have going on in there, and then they will go directly to their power lunch. At that point in time, the teachers are not pulling lunch duty. The teachers are not doing that. We're not going to stand there and count ID cards and count heads. We've got that taken care of already. So the teachers, first of all, go grab your lunch, go exhale. You just went 200 something minutes straight, teaching different kids and have all kinds of things going on. That's when you go relax. We built a phenomenal lunchroom for our teachers that doesn't look like a lunchroom. To me, it looks a whole lot better than that. And that's one place you can go. There's other places you can go as well. Or just go down Chicken Run and go grab me something if you want to. Because I like some chicken strips from time to time. But this is your time. And then you come back together and you give them the teams that have got common. So this is the time when you guys go back to your collaboratory. There's a gigantic classroom, 4 times literally the size of this classroom, where we split it in half with a giant bookshelf in the library. so you guys can go ahead and put your stuff in their professional library if you want to. And there's a small group instruction area on one side. If you want to do tutoring, you can go ahead and do it. If you guys want to just get together and meet as a group, or if we're doing a professional development, having a specialist come in and meet with you, that's fine too. But your desks are really set up all next to each other. There's 2 teams there. So your team will be able to meet right there and kind of talk about your day, talk about tomorrow's rotation. If you're working together on something, that's great too. But it gives you a time, a good hour and a half, to be able to plan, with your team.
And invite the elective teachers in, or go sit down, because they're going to have their own rooms. You guys will have your own rooms, so you guys will elaborate. And when we did the schedule, Howard lunchtime, we did work it to where you guys have common planning as well, so you guys can work with each other and be able to team up as well, and not just be about the core academics, because we need to figure out ways to bring the electives within the core classes to really make that connection for those kids.
So you guys can go ahead and jump into one of those if you want to. That's a real genuine time. Now, I do believe that most of our teachers have an elective that they're going to teach.
And he's got it on there. They're all going to have
You've got that too. And so you get that time as well. Now, if you're on the morning, if you're teaching the morning academy, you don't have morning duty. You don't have morning academy. You guys don't have morning duty. We don't even say that word duty. We say engagement. Your engagement is going to be in the afternoon. So when it comes time for our outtake, when the kids get picked up, they hit the buses, we're trying to clear that building, our folks with that morning academy will go ahead and cover that, just like the folks with the afternoon academy will cover the morning. So kind of a neat thing. And John will go over that and take that input from you guys as to what you want that to look like. So moving on to the afternoon academy, it looks a whole lot like freshman academy, doesn't it? It's almost the same type of deal. They have the 3 electives in the morning, then they have their power lunch, and then they have their rotation in the afternoon. So is it ideal to have all my courses in the afternoon? Well, I guess from one standpoint, maybe not, but it's just as arbitrary as having to spread out all of the courses there, really. But the value of having your 4 teachers who all have you, and they all know you, and they can talk about you and find out how he's doing well in your class and not in mine, it's a lot more value to that than having to spread out and teach and not talking to each other. So it's a bit of a trade-off. Do I want all my courses in the morning or all in the afternoon? Well, maybe, maybe not. But, the other way has been tried, and quite honestly, it's got about a 70% success rate. To me, that's not good enough. I think we can do better by fostering relationships with the kids. I think that we can all agree on that. So that's what our model looks like. You can imagine, okay, logistically speaking, how is that going to work? Well, you got to figure that some of our basic electives, our lower level, our first level classes, will probably be off more in the morning because the freshmen have to have access to those as well. So our students who aren't freshmen and sophomores, who are still looking for that, like for example, video production, they've never had that before. We'll offer more of our basic classes in the morning time too, so those kids can go ahead and grab that. The kids who probably didn't indicate that they wanted that class, well, that triggers us to listen. Okay, we can go ahead and put you in the morning academy, but they can take their afternoon elective to something else. So how do we determine who's in what? Really, the electives really kind of drive it when all said and done, which is pretty important too. So rather than become a quote-unquote dumping ground, which electives really have been, now it's actually the driving force behind. We're trying to personalize these kids' schedules based on what they want. So if they say, well, listen, I'm in Spanish 3. I'm coming from the I got Spanish 3. I really want that third Spanish. Okay, we have that for you, but you realize it's being offered in the afternoon. So we're going to put you in the morning academy so you can grab that class in the afternoon. Okay, but that makes sense. It's not so random anymore, is it? Now my choices are driving where I'm going to be. And so that's what's kind of powerful behind that. Same thing with physical education. No one here is a PE teacher, but we all know in the schools that we've worked in that it sort of becomes a place where we overload classes, we dump kids in there, and no one does anything. Well, the 3 PE teacher we brought in, Britt and Tracy, husband and wife, 2 tough folks, we love them to death. And of course, Chad, our football coach, they're going to have a set number of kids. They're going to be out, they're going to be active, they're going to be doing sports that we normally don't do in gym class, like lacrosse. We'll be doing that. We'll be actually doing gymnastics. It'll almost be like when we went to school. It's no longer just roll the basketballs out and read the paper. It's actually going to be, we're going to go outside and do all kinds of cool stuff. We really want the kids to learn to love soccer, for example. So we would like that soccer to be done earlier in the year so that if they really kind of get a love for it, and September, October, November, well, by the time soccer comes around, they're going to want to play. And that's important too. Let's not roll it out in the spring where they don't really like it. A lot of kids might say, I might want to play this. Believe it or not, when I was in high school, we had a gym teacher, and her name was Miss Stack. And Miss Stack, we loved her, but she brought us outside to play field hockey. We're like, field hockey? That's a girl sport. I'll tell you what, I was really, really good at it, and I was like, I wish I could play field hockey. That would be really awesome if we could. So instead we just played street hockey, but still, it was kind of fun. I never would have done it unless we kind of went out there and did that, Of course, there'll be a basketball, things like that going on. But during power lunch, we'd like to eventually, after the first couple of weeks, get together an intramural basketball league where the kids can grab their lunch. If they've earned it, they can go on down, they can play that intramural basketball league. So they're going to get the hoops in if they want to. We're going to be a pretty good basketball school when all said and done. but that'll be available to them. What goes on during that power lunch is really kind of up to the kids. If the teacher says, look, I know I've got planning, you can come down, I'll tutor this small group if I want to. It's up to the teachers when they want to make themselves available for that. But the kids will have plenty of options. They'll be able to bring their laptops with them to the lunch if they want to. They can work on projects together. Because it's going to be such a project-based school, it's going to require them to be able to organize their time and say, look, after lunch, let's go to the library. We have a half an hour to meet event. We want to put that on them, just like when they go to college. No one's going to tell them where to go, what to do. It's up to them. So the expectation here is that you're going to follow your schedule, but we're going to give them all kinds of freedom to do more than we ever thought they were going to do. We were able to see a product that Diana, I'm going to ask her to show this to you, but she showed us this project that these children did in her classroom. And the kids, we're going to do a project, basically like a senior project, if you will. So these two kids came up to her and they said, we want to do drugs. And of course they just said it because 16-year-old boys like to say they want to do drugs. And she was like, get back to your seats. Next day they came back up, they said, we really want to do drugs. And she was like, okay, I really tell you, no, you can do better than that. They came up, they said, look, just let us do a project on drugs. And she was like, you know what, fine, this is going to be on you guys. Well, after that they came up and said, look, we need to do drugs in the hallway. And she goes, well, here we go. They said, no, seriously, we're going to go in the hallway. We're going to do our documentary. We're going to work on something. And she said, okay, fine, just go ahead and do it. Well, when all was said and done, these three marginal students put together such a first-class documentary. It wasn't on weed, it wasn't on recreational drugs. It was actually on the over-medication of America. Over-medication of America, really what it was. They had one of the three, very low, almost monotonous Ben Stein type voice, but it worked really well.
It's a great
It so well to narrate. One of the kids was like a music mixer. He was mixing the music, and the other person was really good on the clips. Oh my gosh! So she showed us like 10 minutes, and we were all like, we want to see the rest. And she had to keep going with the presentation, but I wanted to see the rest of this thing. Bottom line was that had she told them, no, you can't do it, or this is the thing that we're all going to be doing, they never would have done this. I'm going to ask her to show it to you because it just blew me away. And I began to kind of think, wow, our kids are doing stuff like that. But you know what? It's going to require them to know what they're doing when it comes to production. And I'll tell you what, the most popular class in the entire school, we already know what it is, right? And he's sitting right here right now. That's the one that the kids really want. In other schools, they don't have it, and they're kicking themselves for not having it. And I've been in your classroom already, and as it's coming together now, and I'm thinking, there's a lot of magic that's going to happen right in here. And it's going to have to be one of those things where we got to figure out what we want to do about that, because I never want to tell a kid no, but I'm not going to overload Bruce either. So as we build that program, this could actually be the place. This could be the video production place in the entire county when I'm saying no. The thing is, knowing that, as a social studies teacher, how can you use that to your advantage? You know, knowing that probably your kids are either in this class or want to be in that class so badly, how can you use that to your advantage so that you can get the content across and get it from them? You know, when all said and done, we would like the kids to be able to prove to you that they have mastered the content. And whatever way that means, whatever way that takes, it's up to you as to what you're going to allow you to have to bring home 30 tests every Friday. Those days are gone. The days of them bringing it to you and saying, here's what I know. Let me show you what I know. And that might be a portfolio that they can. It could be a video. It could be some really good, deep, content-rich poems that they've written. It very well could be, okay, but this group here, they want to go ahead and take a test. Okay, that's fine too. That's what you want to do. Most kids don't want to do that. If they have the chance to be able to be them and show you what they know, your job is to be able to take some kind of a rubric that you'll come up with and say, you know what, as long as they know this, and this, however they show it to me, you know what, that project passes to me, whatever that might be. We want them to become masters of revising. So basically, it's almost like an insurance claim. First time through, it's never going to fly. You know that. Hey, that's pretty good, but you can do better. I'd rather them revise and revisit their work and then really kind of master that, because that's how they're really going to learn when all said and done. Hey, Mr. Gillian, I wrote a short story on the Cold War. Here you go. Hey, that's pretty good. I'll tell you what, I want you to go back and fix this. But because we're completely electronic, that's easy. You know, than handing a paperback that's bled all over, you know? Now you can take their tablet, go back in and do it again and again. So finally, after they revise it the third time, that's pretty good. Tell me that they're not going to learn better that way than filling some bubbles. You know, when we get our charter status, I really believe that we're going to have it. We don't have to worry about all this testing. That'll be gone. We'll play the game for now. But I think that our model with this, and the talent we have,
I learned that at Woodland Middle.
we'll be so far above the level of that testing when I was saying so that's what we're trying to create. What do you got?
So you guys got the handout that told you like about the different focus teams and what you were on. So that in the email that I sent out, kind of like identify where you guys are. So you are actually on the student life, and you are actually on the STEM team. So basically, the purpose of our focus teams is to get our teachers together to collaborate, have them identify outside of your teaching duties or responsibilities. Have them really figure out what are other ways that you can contribute to the school and really help our kids. So, for example, you're going to be part of our STEM Academy, which I just shot you an email with everybody in that group just to kind of start meeting. And what we'd love to do is we eventually want to go in that direction with the STEM Academy coming to our school. So working together as a collaborative team and figuring out what are some things we can start doing. Or even just starting to look at resources, starting to work together as that team to figure out what is it we can put together in order to bring that STEM program. And then there were a couple other emails that got sent out about different programs that we could apply for as a school to be part of a STEM Academy and bring those in to get our resources. So that's what that particular focus team is going to do for our school is we now have our school foundation. How can we now take it to the next level and continue to develop and evolve, not just stay stagnant in one place and personalized learning. Now we got to keep on moving. So that would be the objective of the STEM team. So with student life, you're going to be looking and you working with our band specialists, so Thebes, Craig, AD. You're going to be working with Joanne Burry. That's really looking at our kids and figuring out what are we doing around school with our culture, with our environment. So what can we be doing to help our kids just have a better experience at school? Some ideas you guys want to come up. You're going to be our pulse check to say, okay, the kids are talking, this is what they're hearing, this is what you guys need to do a better job at, or we're not doing enough of this, or they want more of this. And you guys are going to really work together to ensure that they're having the best experience they can, not just academically, but socially, at school, culturally. We want them to really enjoy coming to Hampton, and we have to do our part to ensure that we're keeping up with that, we're meeting their needs. Because it's not just about academics, we've also got to meet their social needs, personal needs. We got to figure out what we can be doing. So you're going to be communicating to us and really trying to, put the pieces together to ensure that we're not losing touch. Because sometimes adults can do that. We definitely lose touch with what's going on with our kids. And there's nothing worse than a kid trying to have a conversation. I'm not saying you've got to be, hanging out with them on a Friday night, but when a kid realizes that you no longer have touch with their reality, because their reality is a little different than ours, then you've got a problem because the kids just aren't interested in you anymore. So they need to feel that there is that connection beyond the academic piece. Because the kids know that you can teach them social studies all day long. They know you can teach them AV all day long. But what else can you offer them socially, as far as that relationship building piece, that connection piece. So that's what we're going to really look for in the student life. So then you have all these other focus teams. We have GLASS, we have student support, which is going to be a lot of our counselors and things like that. Seeing, okay, what do we need to be doing for those kids outside of school? Do they need homeschool? Do they need resources? What are other things outside within the community that we may need to help kids with that we don't even realize that's going on in school with our population? So that's the purpose of all these different teams that we're going to have put together and that we wanted you guys to kind of be a part of. And then our final one, which is going to be our personalized learning team, is going to be a group of 4 teachers who's going to help kind of reach out to you guys. Gates Foundation Personalized Learning, and they're going to be your go-to with, okay, I need more resources on this. All right, guys, I'm struggling with this. What can you help me do? And they're going to kind of be that focus, that grounding team that's going to be able to brainstorm together and figure out what can they provide for you. So based on those, do you guys have questions about the focus team and things like that? Or what questions do you guys now have that you've heard about the model? You've heard about this and the direction we're going. You've kind of seen a layout. What is it that you have question-wise or thoughts that you just want to spit back to us?
As far as your focus goes, if your focus team's mission was just improving the quality of science, technology, and engineering, okay? Improving the quality. So does that mean that we want to be constantly checking to make sure that we're having a high level of rigor and allow the kids to rise up without level? Make sure that our assignments, as we're walking around doing focus groups, allow our assignments to make sure that they're challenging. That we're not dumbing it down for the kids. We really kind of believe that touch it up and they'll come up with it as well. Student life, improving the quality of student life. That's big right there, man. How do we improve the quality of student life? That can be done by surveys, it can be done by interviews, it can be done so many ways. But you know what? If they want to dance on Halloween, then we're going to do a dance on Halloween. And Student Life will go ahead and sponsor that. That also means that your focus groups can also fundraise if they want to do whatever it is you want to do. Now, when we actually get STEM status, and we'll get that in a couple of years, when we can actually bring engineering into our school and kind of prove that we're doing that, this focus team is going to really help us kind of get that status. Nothing more I'd like than for Hampton House to be the school for STEM. For glass, we made up glass. There's no such thing as glass. We made it up. So that's global studies, language arts, and social studies. There's a whole glass team to improve the quality of that. So that's what all we're trying to do is improve the quality of it, and we keep getting better and better. Well, should we get better every day? We're gonna be pretty special by the end of the year, So, yeah, we give a lot of information, but the most important thing is that you guys give us some input, give us some feedback, ask us some questions, and how can we do a better job of what we want to do? What do you guys think?
I'm excited. Great. Can we start tomorrow? We're ready. Really, let's do it.
The logistics is going to be messy. I'm going to tell you right now. It's going to be messy for the first month. And it's going to be, we're going to be putting out a ton of fires along the way. But it's really not with the kids and not with the teachers. It's going to be with the moms and dads that aren't used to that. What do you mean I'm going to have math at the same time every day? What do you mean I had 40 minutes one day, 80 the next day? It's something that we're going to have to kind of work through and sell to them. And when they get their first project, of course, back and see how the other kids are doing. Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and stick with that. So we'll worry about moms and dads initially. That's when we want to free our teachers up. So let us take care of that. The messy part will be the first month or so, but we can't give up on it because it's not as cut and dry and blocked out. Because you know what? You're never going to get burned out if you can drive. You can drive it, It's about time someone puts the steering wheel in your hands and let us be the passengers for a little bit, Because I'll tell you, this will be my third high school as the principal, and I'm sick and tired of doing all the driving. I want to finally to put the gas in your car for you, wash off your windshield, change your oil, and support you, and let you guys go ahead and do that. Because when all said and done, I can focus on what I'm really good at, and that's putting teams together, and managing moms and dads, and things like that, and of course being there for the kids. But we just really believe that by putting this group of folks together and then giving them this framework to work within, and then saying, now, you go do it how you want to do it, we can be pretty special. I think we can be very, very special as a school. And the thing is, next year, we got a whole new teaching, 2 new teaching teams are coming in, plus 2 more electives are coming in as well. Engineering's coming in for sure, and agriculture's coming in for sure. I can tell you now that by March, they've already told us that we're hosting the job fair for the county. You wonder why? Because they're all going to want to come here anyway, so we might as well just go ahead and host it, which is a neat thing for us too. We want you guys picking your teammates. The days of us sitting down at Dunkin' Donuts or sitting down in some boardroom, those days are over with. This is going to come down to you guys saying, this is how hard we work. We focused on improving the quality of all these things. And so we want to have some kind of say in who's going to join this team, because not just anyone can come in. We've got some smart folks walk. 27 interviews for a math position before we hired the last one that we hired, Jessica. And when you see her, you'll know exactly why. Because we kind of felt like these folks deserve better than just someone who's pretty good. We want someone that's awesome. They're all good at math, but someone who's awesome with kids. That's what we're looking for too. I want to make it so difficult when I ask those kids, who's your favorite teacher? Because at lunchtime, that's what I do. I said, who's your favorite teacher? And I want them to say, it's tough. That's, when it's the same person every time, we have a big problem. It's the same person, Miss Gillard. Everyone says, Miss Gillard, that's great, Miss Gillard. That's bad for the rest of the school, because that means that he's doing something that no one else is doing. And this dude's not sharing it. So I have a problem with that too. So that's kind of where we're going now, and
what are your thoughts, Sean? You look like you're got something.
I'm excited, like even the whole idea with the focus team, and that's perfect.